Now we'll look at setting up your environment. In this, we'll be going over installing Xcode, setting up a playground, and overview of the Xcode interface. Now to start coding in Swift, you will need to set up your development environment. The primary tool you'll use is Xcode, Apple's integrated development environment, IDE for macOS. I've been using this environment, it's this Xcode tool or IDE for since 2008. It's been constantly evolving every year and it's been much better and one of the best tools that I've used for programming in all my experience. So let's go ahead and look at how we can install Xcode. Now to download Xcode, first go to App Store, search for Xcode. I already have it installed, that's why it's showing me Xcode which says open here. If you're doing it first time, you'll probably see something like like for example here code AI AR for Xcode. It will say get and it will say install and you can start installing here. If you have downloaded before and deleted it, it will show you a cloud with download option here. Once you have it, it might once you click on that get button and then install, Xcode is a large application, so it may take some time to download and install it. For example, if I click on this, I don't know how big this is, but you'll probably see it will ask for password. I'll say okay, this is my password, and then it will start installing. It will take forever to install because it's a very large application, so give it some time and come back, and then you can open it just by pressing open here or searching for Xcode in your search. Now you can click on search on the top and say Xcode, or the shortcut is command space and it will come up, it will show you the spotlight search. Once you have this open, you can next thing that we can do is we can set up a playground. So Xcode playgrounds are an excellent way to start learning Swift. They allow you to write and run Swift code in an interactive environment without the need to create a full project. So we don't have to go through any of these create project options. What we can do is once we open Xcode, to create a new playground, you go to file, new, and click on the playground option here. You can start with a blank template. There are a bunch of different templates available with single view, map, game, and blank. We'll start with blank because we want to learn from scratch. Click next. I'm going to give it my first playground as the name. Save it on my desktop or save wherever you want to save. Usually I like to keep my projects sorted and save them inside a projects folder. Next, let's look at this particular interface. So this is the coding environment that you get. On the left side of the screen is the editor where you can write your Swift code. So it already came up with some Swift here where it says import UI kit, which is a library provided by Apple which provides all the UI elements. Then as we saw earlier in one of the examples where I'm creating a variable called as greeting with hello playground. Now this was already generated for me, I didn't do anything. And if I want to print this out, I can just say print greeting and this will print out the greeting for me. So this is on the left side, as I said, is the editor. The right side is the screen that shows you the results of your code. You can just run by pressing this play button or the play button at the bottom, one of the two. It will go through the code. First time it might take some time because it's, if you see here on the status, it launch, it will run, and then it'll say ready to continue with your first playground. So if you see, as and when I change this here, it will change the items on the right side, saying that depending on whatever I write here, I'll say hello world and it will say hello world for me. You can run your code by clicking the, as I mentioned, play button, the triangle play button over here, or at the lower end of the editor. Let's look at the overview of Xcode interface. Is there more to it? Now here are the main components of the Xcode interface. First one is the navigation area. Now you don't see navigation area when you first open the IDE. You can click on this on the top and you'll see your navigation area over here. Located on this left side, it provides access to different navigators like project navigator, symbol navigator, and more. So more things are here. As and when you do more coding, you'll probably cover more on this. Next is the editor area, the central part where you can write and edit your code. In Playground, this is where your code actually goes. Next we have the debug area, that is also hidden. If you press this at the bottom, this is the debug area. You say it says hello world, which is because of this print here. It kind of prints the debug, or it prints this in the debug area. Now this is used to display output, error messages, and debugging information. There's a lot of things that you can do. We'll probably look at that as and when we write our applications. Next we have the utility area, that is also kind of hidden. Let me hide this first and open the utility area by pressing this top right, also called as the inspectors, where you can have on the right side, this it provides inspectors for and libraries that help you configure and use different elements within your project. Since we don't have any elements here right now, we'll probably look at more detail of all the elements that we add and how this will help us. Now we have already started with an example here where we created a project. In this we have imported a UI kit, we have created a string which says hello world, and we have printed it out. So in summary, what we have done in this particular section is we have installed Xcode, we have set up a playground and learned about the main components of the Xcode interface. Playgrounds are a great way to practice and experiment with Swift code in an interactive environment. What are our next steps? Now that our environment is set up, I hope you got along. If there were any questions, any problems, just leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. We'll dive more into some basic concept of Swift in the next section. This will include understanding variables, constants, data types, and basic operators. Stay tuned.